Hello there, Barn Burners. This is Brad Becker here. Good to have you with us on Red Barn Radio. We continue to celebrate the 20th season of Red Barn Radio, and tonight we welcome you to show number 770. Sam Foster is our guest this evening on Red Barn Radio. Hailing from Winston-Salem, Sam emerged on the North Carolina music scene in 2014 as a solo artist, and he's been self-proclaimed road dog, playing to eager crowds all over the Southeastern United States ever since. Sam Foster established a following on local, regional, and global levels, playing with the band Whiskey Foxtrot, which he co-founded with Seth Williams, whom we also had here on this very stage, but a few years ago, I think 3 years ago. I'm so glad you're here with us this evening. It's a very special night with solo music from Mr. Sam Foster. Give him a warm welcome.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all kindly. I'm glad to be back up here with everyone. It's been a long time coming. I'll start off with the song. It's a title track off a record I put out a few years ago. This is called Harden Hearts. Can't sleep when it's peaceful outside. Miss the sound of these trucks rolling by. I'm trying to make this easy. All I got is broken pride. I can't sleep when it's peaceful outside. The lightning glows like a cigarette in the dark. I can't see from the rain pouring hard. I miss your long dark hair and all those tattoos on your arms. The lightning glows like a cigarette in the dark. And darling, can you hear my lonesome sound in this empty house without you around? Hardened hearts just ain't that tough, so come home and fill me up. Bring me on through the morning light. And I can still smell your perfume in the wind, clinging to my clothes and to my skin. And if you came running back, I'd probably blow it all again. But I can still smell your perfume in the wind. And our house moans and creaks through the night. I try to run with nowhere to hide. And darling, I don't even care who is wrong or right when our house moans and creaks through the night. And darling, can you hear my lonesome sound in this empty house without you around? Our hardened hearts just ain't that tough, so come home and fill me up. Bring me on through the morning light. ever stop and wonder how I am? And if you did, would you still see this broken man? Or would you see a boy who took his love and ran? Do you ever stop and wonder how I am? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good evening and welcome to Red Barn Radio. Wherever in the world you're listening, welcome to Roots Music Southern Style. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn Radio's official radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. Red Barn Radio is supported by Visit Lex, Lexington, Kentucky's Convention and Visitors Bureau. More information on what Lexington has to offer is at visitlex.com. LexArts, Lexington, Kentucky's premier cultural development, advocacy, and fundraising organization, working for the development of a strong and vibrant arts community as a means of enhancing the quality of life in Central Kentucky. Follow Red Barn Radio on Twitter and like us on Facebook. Here's the host of Red Barn Radio to tell us more about tonight's performers.
Our guest this evening, an opportunity to focus hard on his songwriting, to perhaps rethink what he's done in the past and shape some new things. In fact, during the pandemic, Sam wrote a new set of 15 tunes he's now taking out on the road. I know you're going to want to hear more of Sam's music, which you can do on platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. His debut in 2015 was called Rough Edges, and then in 2018 he released Hardened Hearts. His new set of tunes, as I understand it, he may correct me, may be called Heat Waves, and that's, I think, coming out in June. Am I on target? Good. We're going to have a lot of fun hearing Sam's new music and getting to know him better here on Red Barn Radio. Here's Sam Foster.
Thank you. Yeah, speaking of those new songs, I got that record coming out in June, and this is a single that's going to be on it coming out later in May. This one's called Custom Deluxe. Custom Deluxe in the front row seat to the passenger side, holding your knees. What you got to keep me awake? Circle back and do a double take. Solid connection across state lines, a 100 fever and a 4-hour drive. No heat to fill up this space. We're so now with just a taste. And a road flares line, shoulder late at night. And I still smell them, though I'm long out of sight. 'Cause you were standing by my screen door, said you don't want to see me no more. 'Cause you were standing by my screen door, said you don't want to see me no more. Do it yourself if you're so first class. You said last night, last time I asked. You won't even look at me, let's call it what it is. Actually, you can wash it up and I can stuff it down, bottle it in, don't make a sound. And I hear these days you two make quite a pair. Do you still wear boots and do you let him brush your hair? When you were standing by my screen door, said you don't want to see me no more. myself naturally, 'cause I once was younger, I once was younger, I once was younger. When you were standing by my screen door, said you don't want to see me no more. You were standing by my screen door, said you don't want to see me no more. Thank you. Thank you for the clap. Yeah, that one's a single. It's coming out May 20th, I think is the date. Spotify, all that stuff. You can pre-order the record, but we'll get to that later. This is one, I quit drinking about 2.5 years ago, and before that I had some wild times, to say the least. Hanging out in downtown Winston, freshly 21, and making a fool out of myself, to say the least. So this is a song, it's about getting sober and looking back on all that and trying to be like, I'm, just saying I ain't that person anymore. So this song's called 4th Street. Can't keep a secret, or so I'm told, but I don't know nothing, never been too bold, been too bold. My Chevy broke down with the 4th Street girls, told them they could have it, take the key and give it a whirl, give it a whirl. Standing out the door, smoking cigarettes and all, take a drag the wrong way, backed up to the wall, to the wall. Hanging out the window on 421, hold me by my belt while my insides come undone, come undone. Put me on the right track, and you can hold me on the way back. Well, Lucy's tugging at my jacket sleeve. She came to town last night, she don't wanna leave, wanna leave. Said you've grown into the boots you wear, but she don't know half of the stories I'll even share, even share. And she can put me on the right track, and she'll hold me on the way back. And she says she's here to stay this time, and I'd like to see her try. And that 4th Street crowd's grown tired, now that I'm not pissed and wired. Says she's here to stay this time, and I'd like to see her try. That 4th Street crowd's grown tired, now that piston wire. Well, my Chevy broke down with the 4th Street girls. Told them they could have it, take the key and give it a whirl. Give it a whirl. Because Lucy's tugging at my jacket sleeve. She came to town last night and she don't wanna leave. Well, thank y'all. This next one is another one that's going to be on the record, and I wrote it when I was playing in Whiskey Foxtrot, and at the time we were playing quite a bit of wiffle ball at rehearsals instead of getting work done. And so I'm just telling everybody that's what this song is about. It's called Big Yellow Bat. Shoes now, they look kind of loose. You'll be tripping all over yourself. I might have begun, are you having your fun? But don't you point it at no one else. Float into space, you can't feel your face as you watch us all fade to black. Ain't there the trip that you're losing your grip as you tumble and turn your back? And I can feel them looking right at me. Can let them go and I just can't let it be. Maybe, baby, I'll come on out tonight. Just hold it down and keep it wrapped up tight. Stacks and stacks and a big yellow bat. You call your shot like a babe. Lost a bet, now you're hanging around. We're wishing that you hadn't stayed. And I can feel them looking right at me. You let them go and I just can't let it be. Maybe, baby, I'll come on out tonight. Just hold it down and keep it wrapped up tight. So tight. And I can feel them looking right at me. You let it go and I just can't let it be. Maybe, baby, I'll come on out tonight. Just hold it down and keep it wrapped up tight. So tight. Thank you. Thank you kindly. Yeah, playing a bunch of new songs tonight, and I'm gonna do some quote-unquote old stuff. This next one is one that I put on a record, the Harden Hearts record a few years ago. It's the closest thing I've ever had to a hit. It's got 50 plays on Spotify. I wrote this with my buddy and mentor, James Vincent Carroll. I was in an airport bar down in Miami freshly turned 21. The job I was working sent me down there. And I walk up to this mojito bar, and they said, "Do you want a mojito?" And I was like, "I don't know what that is." "Do you have any bourbon?" They said, "Yeah." And I said, I'll take some of that. And then this song happened. So this is called Miami Springs. She said, "I know it's hard, but I don't feel the same as I did before, and I can't change. You were the very best, but I can't stay with a man I can't love every day." And I flew all night just to get here. Warm, salty air to make my mind clear. She's so far gone, and I'll never be back home. Lord, it's so hard to move on. Well, I lay alone in this hotel room, whiskey to wash away her sweet perfume. Well, it's raining like a bitch in Miami Springs, and I think I almost bought a wedding ring. And if I had my way, she'd be here with me, making love on this bed like it used to be. We could ride into the city or down to South Beach, but it don't matter now, 'cause she's so out of reach. And I flew all night just to get here. Warm, salty air to make my mind clear. She's so far gone, and I'll never be back home. Lord, it's so hard to move on. She wasn't trying to break my heart, and I can't help but to fall apart. There's nothing I can do to make her stay. Live on to fight another day. And I flew all night just to get here. Warm, salty air, make my mind clear. She's so far gone, and I'll never be back home. Lord, it's so hard. I said, you know that it's so hard. Well, it's so hard to move on. She said, I know it's hard, but I don't feel the same.
All right, nice tune. My guest this evening on Red Barn Radio is Sam Foster. Sam is here from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. The last time he was here was 4 years ago with a band called Whiskey Foxtrot, and they have since disbanded, and Sam is getting into a new life and new songs and new writing.
Yep.
which is very cool. Change is good,
It is.
though hard.
It is. It's but I've embraced it though.
Yeah.
It's always fun doing something new. And as far as Whiskey Foxtrot disbanding, it was the most amicable split up ever.
Yeah. Well, that's a good
So
thing.
we're all still buddies.
Yeah. Well, that's a good thing. It could have been different, right?
Yep.
You know. So I guess I want to ask you. You mentioned sobriety earlier on, and did that coincide with your decision to stop drinking?
The band breaking
Yeah.
up? No, I quit drinking because of being in Whiskey Foxtrot. I mean, we were out having fun and everything, but around the time I quit drinking, we were getting ready to put a record out. We had just played here at Red Barn, and I was like, well, I don't want to be the one responsible for screwing it up for anybody else. And I woke up, one morning feeling like I should have been dead probably. And I started to regret things I'd done, worry about stuff I didn't remember. I thought, the shows will be better. There's no way, no one ever says, in the words of Jason Isbell, no one ever says, I got sober and my life went to hell. So I just figured
Right.
everything would probably work out better if I just stopped.
Yeah. So were you kind of inspired by Jason Isbell's decision to do that?
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, and that seems to be a theme, if you could say, running through Americana and country music. A lot of artists are sober and support each other on it. So it's you don't feel like you have to embrace like the rock and roll lifestyle.
Yeah.
So very much inspired by him and American Aquarium and countless others.
Wow. Well, that's really cool. So talk about that a little bit more. Did you, when you decided that it was time, did you decide that you were going to get into a group and do meetings and that kind of thing? Was that your approach?
No, I didn't do that because I don't know if I was had a serious problem, because I never had DTs or anything, but I think mine was just being young and dumb and foolish. And I thought, well, I just gonna quit, and if I said I'm not gonna do it anymore, I'm just not gonna do it anymore. And just kind of held myself to my own word.
Yeah.
And I've told enough people now I have to stick with it, right?
Yeah, that's right. You just told a whole bunch of people.
Yeah.
Talk about how your songwriting and your work routine and whatnot has changed, because we know substances can become a big part of a routine.
Yeah.
In every way. Performing it lubricates you before you go out and bring new music to an audience. How is that working for you now? Was it an adjustment, I think was a question that I had.
It was, because, playing in bars all the time, you're just playing, and then all of a sudden shots of whiskey appear in front of you. And so, now you politely turn it down. But it's literally made everything better. The performances are better, whether I'm solo or with a band. I have more energy. And I'd heard, everyone say, when you get sober, your head gets clear. And I'd always thought, oh, I don't know about that. But, within 6 months of stopping drinking, my head was clear, and I wrote a whole new record. And and part of that was being at home during the pandemic, but
sure,
I was able to focus and pay attention to stuff other than my own self, and think about how my actions and everything in the world affects more than just me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Well, congrats, and you seem very happy with that, and it's especially great that you're able to just move forward with your writing and your creative process and all that. So
Yeah,
way to go, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So I'd love to hear you talk a little bit about when music started for you. How old were you when you got interested in music? Not just as a listener, maybe, but as somebody who you thought, maybe I could play.
Yeah, well, parents were lifelong music fans, so that was, from day one, I was listening to, like Dwight Yoakam. My dad loves Doc Watson and Flatt Scruggs and everything. But when I was around 12, I started taking guitar lessons. And so I've been playing since then, and I'd play talent shows and open mics while I was in high school. And then after I graduated, I started thinking, well, there's local bands playing around, at little sports bars and dive bars. I'd like to get in on that. And I was working at a grocery store, and I saw a lady that would come in frequently wearing a T-shirt it was called Classic Sports Bar. And she came in all the time, and I asked her, I was like, hey, I know y'all have music up there. Who do I need to talk to get a gig? And she said, that's me. Her name was Joanne. She was the owner. And she said, come up and audition for me tomorrow. So I did. I don't think I even played a song. I just, showed her a song list of all the stuff I knew. And she was like, oh, you play the Ballad of Curtis Lowe? Yeah, I Love You Already. And when I played that show, she gave me an hour slot. And that's when I met James Vincent Carroll that I wrote Miami Springs with. He watched some of my set, and he told me, he said, I can see that, you're serious about what you're wanting to do. If you ever need anything, let me know. If you want to play my breaks, play shows with me,
Come on.
call me. So I've been lucky from the start, and then he took me under his wing and corrupted my life.
So did you play all covers that night, that first night, that fateful night at the sports bar?
Yeah, I think so, because it was around the same time I was wanting to start writing too. I had tried to write before, but I always felt intimidated listening to someone like Bruce Springsteen or Tom Petty. It's like, when you're 16, how do you compete with that? But then I heard band American Aquarium, and it just clicked for me. And I was like, I can do this. So I was starting to write around then too.
And so tell us about this. Tell us about this guy. I'm sorry, James.
Yeah, James Vincent Carroll.
Yeah. So tell us about him, and especially how he mentored you.
I had met him. He had again also same way had played music his whole life, but within the preceding 6 to 8 months, he had quit his day job, and that's what he was doing. Was just playing gigs wherever he could, whenever he could. And so he was doing the thing, and I mean, he played 5 nights a week, still playing. And
was he young then?
Yeah, he was late 30s, so he
okay, yeah.
Maybe 10, 15 years
But a lot older
yeah.
than you were,
Yeah.
right? As
Yeah.
a teenager, right?
And so I just called him, I saw he was playing at a oyster bar a week later. I was like, hey man, can I come play for you? He was like, yeah, come on. And I did that for a year and a half, and he introduced me to different club owners, bar owners, different musicians.
By that point in
everybody.
time, did you have a bunch of material of your own that was your own creation?
Yeah, it was growing, and I
Yeah.
recorded Rough Edges with him, actually, that first record I did. It was just a collection of demos that we recorded in his living room.
Pretty neat.
Yeah.
So, do you still take lessons?
No, I don't.
Do you wish sometimes that you did? And I ask that only because I've heard so many guitar players, even extraordinary guitar players, say, boy, I'd like to do a lesson.
I wish I'd have stuck with it longer. Oddly enough, my guitar teacher that I had, he would come to my house and give me lessons. And I took for 2 years, and the last year was spent, I was like, I want to try and write songs, And so we spent the last year, he'd show me how to put a chord progression together and how to make stuff rhyme. And my parents shut that down. They were like, we're not going to pay for you to write songs. You're going to take lessons or you're going to write songs. And I was like, okay. But it was nothing good was ever written in it. When you're 14, what do you expect?
Yeah, right. What do you got to talk about?
Yeah.
Right. So you've mentioned Dwight Yoakam, you've mentioned Tom Petty, and you've mentioned American Aquarium, who I've heard about but do not know much about. But it seems to me that your influences sort of bleed out of your music. And I hear Steve Earle.
Yeah.
Too.
I love Steve
Especially
Earle.
in your guitar playing.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about that. Do you still listen to Dwight Yoakam music? Do you still listen to Springsteen stuff? And how often do you go back to that for inspiration?
Frequently.
Yeah?
Yeah. I mean, it's because I'm always, every artist says and does try to listen to and expand their horizons and listen to new things. But I've always found that when I get in a creative rut, I can go back to Dwight Yoakam or Springsteen or Tom Petty and just ground myself in a way. That sounds really cliche, but it never fails. I can find something new in any of their stuff, the ones that are the hardcore influences for me.
Huh.
Yeah.
Tell us about American Aquarium, because you've mentioned them, and they're from down in your area,
Yeah,
right?
they're from Raleigh, and when I first heard of them, they were starting to blow up. Their Burn, Flicker, Die record had come out, but I don't know, it just hit me like a lightning bolt. I found those records when I needed them. I was in a dark place over a girl at the time, and some of their early stuff really helped me, and I was obsessed with it, and I listened to everything I could. I found every interview, and I learned that they got to where they were because BJ is the hardest working musician in show business. I mean, they played 300 dates a year back then. And I was like, well, you don't have to have a major label deal and, to get famous. You just work your ass off.
Yeah, but you gotta have money and resources to do that. I mean, to get decide. Well, we're gonna play 300 gigs.
Yeah, but I mean, and not just them, but every band. The Drive-By Truckers, Jason Isbell, they all go out or used to go out, and they were broke, not making any money, and then all of a sudden they, success came for them. It might have taken them 10 years or more, but it happened.
So what you feel, I guess, that you learned then, sort of reading this BJ guy from American Aquarium, you just learned that you have to kind of make a choice.
Yeah, you got if
Am
you're
I
gonna
in or not?
If you're gonna do it, do it and stick with it. And that's what else do you do anyway in life? Nothing's gonna be handed to you.
Have you had the opportunity yourself to give yourself entirely to this over the last 6 years? Like with Whiskey Foxtrot, for instance, did you guys travel year round?
Yeah, we did, and we played a lot in North Carolina. I always wanted to be, traveling more and going somewhere new, because there's only so much you can play in your hometown before it's like, if you're playing Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, sure.
And especially if one of those shows has a cover or a ticket sale, it's like, who's going to come see you?
Saturation.
So I'm kind of at that point in my life now. It's like, now's when I really got to buckle down and do it. But I've also, it probably sounds hypocritical when I say it, but I've kept a day job too.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm fortunate enough that I work for a company and a boss that understands what I'm doing, and they give me the freedom, and I work remote so that I can go and be here tonight and everywhere else.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you working together some material with some new players, some folks that you haven't recorded with before?
Yeah. The bass player I'm putting together a backing band. The bass player that's with me was in Whiskey Foxtrot, Brad Cardile.
Okay.
And actually, before Whiskey Foxtrot split up, we were making a record. And the keyboard player, a friend of ours, Nicky Forrester, he's playing with me. And we got a guitar player, Elliot Humphreys, and I'm searching for a drummer. So if anyone out there in the internet wants to give up everything and make no money, I need a drummer.
All right. Well, good. I think we have actually 1, 2, 3, 4, that's 17 right here in the house.
Get in
here.
the band.
Hey, folks, I'm here with Sam Foster on Red Barn Radio. We're going to get back to some music. And Sam, great to have you here.
Thanks, Brad.
All right, let's play some more. What do you got coming up? What are your next tunes? Heat Waves, 7 Alarm?
Yep, Heat Waves. This next one is one that I wrote, talking about after my head got clear. And it was in the early days of the pandemic. I was just watching what was going on in the world between the pandemic, the Black Lives Matter protest after George Floyd was murdered. And that's when it kind of clicked for me that, like, the world doesn't revolve around me, and everything I was taught growing up might not necessarily be true. So this one's about saying, screw your white supremacy, screw your homophobia, screw your religious zealousness. So this one's Heat Waves.
All right. Screw it.
I can feel it in the air. Hide your eyes and pretend you don't care. Can't you feel it? Just like a heat wave. Maxed out and you push it back in. Just like they told you it's original sin. Are you guilty? Digging a grave. Try to teach you all the facts. Framed in glory are the ones who turn their back for God and country. Well, so they say. Heat waves in the Bible Belt. They change the channel, but you know what you felt. Years of work you're compelled to destroy. Don't wanna be just another good Southern boy. Flags of treason hanging by the door. They won't acknowledge what it's standing for. Just of dissension and hate. Shut it down before somebody gets hurt. Another mother crying over a hearse. Is it too late? We're glad you're here. They flipped the script and rigged the whole design. Even still, they only read you half the lines. Now it's up to you to make it clear. Heat waves in the Bible Belt. Change the channel, but you know what you felt. Years of work you're compelled to destroy. Don't want to be just another good Southern boy. What are the neighbors gonna do when you're living from a different point of view? But you've got to get to sleep at night. This ain't no matter of left and right. Southern boy. Don't wanna be a good Southern boy. Thank you. Thank you. This next one, after talk about my mind getting clear and everything, after being sober for a little while, I started to think about all the people I'd probably and did let down, relationships I'd ruined, whether intimate or otherwise. And there's a few that stuck out in my mind. And so after ruminating on that for a while, this one happened. It's called 7 Alarm. Rubber, rubber on the boulevard, passing speed in a stranger's car. Don't tell, lines of sin, hot nights in the city, boy, where have you been? One more, pour down the throat of a long neck brake check from Ohio. Don't touch, just pass it by, just leave it alone and don't ask why. You can't face it. You can't face it. She calls with a panic switch. Are you bloated and dead in a side street ditch? You know you're just a step away from an no-name X-ray from yesterday. The smell of an aroma sweet and the taste of another one on your teeth. She knows, oh God, she knows and you can't sink it down with a heavy stone. You'll have to face it. You have to face it. She needs you way down deep in her arms. She feels you just like a 7 alarm. But you're a little too self-involved, a little too self-involved. She needs you way down deep in her arms. She feels you just like a 7 alarm. She needs you way down deep in her arms. She feels you just like a 7 alarm. But you're a little too self-involved, a little too self-involved, a little too self-involved, a little too self-involved. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This next one's one off the Harden Hearts record I co-wrote with my buddy who produced the record, Mr. Doug Davis from Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And Doug is a mighty fine songwriter, and he taught me a lot about the process. So this song's called Drive You Away. Call you tonight from the hotel, but you won't wait by the phone. You say it ain't fair while I'm out here, and you're stuck there all alone. I'm out here making a living, and I'm doing the best that I can. I'm doing alright, but it's always a fight, and it just might drive you away. Cigarettes and cups of black coffee, and the sunlight pounding my head. The night before, drowning in a bottle, but I can hear the words that you said. Well, I can't hold on forever. And then you hung up the phone. We screamed, we yelled, saying go straight to hell, and it just might drive you away. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder every day, and I just keep on drifting, but you keep saying stay, and I might just drive you away. Wheels on the blacktop on westbound towards a show in some dark saloon. But all I see is your blue eyes when the band starts in the blue moon. We'll stumble to the room this evening, and she'll leave just before dawn. In a life of sin, love just can't win, and it just might drive you away. They say absence makes the heart grow fonder every day. I just keep on drifting, but you keep saying stay, and I might just drive you away. The show last night was a good one, at least that's the word on the street. Most of these nights are hazy while I'm out here living the dream. And I'll be home in the morning, and I suspect that you'll be gone. There'll be no surprise, 'cause you gave me your warning, and it looks like I drove you away. There will be no surprise, 'cause I gave you your warning, and it looks like I drove you away. Thank you for the clap.
Hey, I'm Brad Becker, and we're here tonight with Sam Foster on Red Barn Radio. We're taking a little break here. Before I tell you about what we have coming up next on Red Barn Radio, I just wanted to tell you about something that happened to me this past week. Someone at work said to me, "Oh, man, I can't believe I missed that DOG show and that B. Taylor show. That's unbelievable. I was supposed to come, and I couldn't come." And so it made me wonder, are you all aware that our live streams, tonight's and on any Wednesday, that they remain available online for you to view at your convenience? So those are there, just as tonight's show is there. If you want to say to somebody, "Hey, I had this amazing experience. I watched Sam Foster on Red Barn Radio. You got to check it out." Well, you can just send them to the Red Barn Radio YouTube channel, and there will be Sam's show and all of our other live shows that we've streamed over past few years. So, folks, I hope you know that. Our live video stream is also available on the weku.org website, as is our audio stream, compliments of WGAD.net in Central New York. Don't miss a single episode of our program, and for heaven's sakes, be sure to tell your friends what you like about Red Barn Radio. Red Barn Radio, listen to the live. Hey, and our guest next week is Luke Trimble. Now, Luke was born and raised in Paintsville, Kentucky. He was influenced by Eastern Kentucky artists such as Sturgill Simpson, Tyler Childers, Chris Stapleton, and like them, Luke looks to capture that Appalachian sound and the daily lifestyle of the people who make up that area. He's a great new voice in the arena, and I really want you to hear him. He's really finding an audience, and we're just very psyched that he can be with us on Red Barn Radio next week. I hope you'll be here too. That's Luke Trimble next week on Red Barn Radio. Now let's get back to tonight's Red Barn Radio program. We welcome you live on our social media platforms, broadcasting from the Arts Place Performance Hall here in the city of Lexington, Kentucky. Please welcome back Sam Foster to the Red Barn stage.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you. And thank you for bearing with me while I'm getting back in tune. I get a little ham-fisted and knock it right out. All right. This next tune is the next single, actually, that's coming out from the new record. This one will be out April 29th. And I wrote it I had a certain idea in mind when I wrote it, partially being self-referential. Sometimes we get, as artists and songwriters, we get a little bit too wrapped up in our aesthetic, as you can see that I've done tonight. wearing a cowboy hat and a sport coat. So this song is called False Poet Prophet. Got a blue denim jacket and you're coming on the scene. You got a blue denim jacket and you're busting on the scene. Waltz into the room like you own the place, spilling your guts all over my face, and I'm trying not to laugh, but I'm running out of gas. Got a red bandana and a pair of snakeskin boots. You got a red bandana and a pair of snakeskin boots. Have you ever seen a rattler shaking out west? It's alright, but I think you missed the rest of the points that I made. You're trying to get laid, don't wanna be here anymore. Help me find the door. Every soul spill line. Yes, we all heard the name drop in all your bleeding heart lines. We can stand here all day, but we both know it's true. They wouldn't give a damn about me or them or you, and you keep the lines blurred. When you get hurt and the heat comes down and you're stuck inside this town, just a false poet prophet with a mess of wasted words. Mess of wasted words, mess of wasted words. Thank you. Thank you. There's another new one. Everybody likes murder ballads, right? Yeah. This one is based on a true story, and I have changed the names and changed some of the details and taken poetic license just to disguise those who are still alive that may or may not have been involved. The song's called Memorial Day. I was 16 the night it all came down. Just a truck driver's son in a rural town. I was bound to be a junior when school came in the fall. And I remember the morning, the day we got the call. I sort of knew him from his sister down the street. He'd stop by on weekends, all from the factory. He couldn't spell his name, no, he couldn't read or write. He never seemed too sharp, but he was level with the sights. Do you believe it's written at birth? That if you push a man for what he's worth, don't expect that he'll take it on the chin. 'Cause a broken man lets it sink beneath the skin. He got popped on Easter with the second DUI. Judge was light with the gavel, and he swore it's his last time. The deputy said he wasn't fit to keep his home, with his polished badge, holstered gun, all the blue and all the chrome. We'd all heard rumors of his wife's secret affair, and a lawman shoving him around, though he wouldn't never share. And their little daughter, well, she didn't quite have his eyes. He just kept his mouth shut, kept his head down, and tried to keep in line. Do you believe it's written at birth? That if you push a man for what he's worth, don't expect that he'll take it on the chin. 'Cause a broken man lets it sink beneath his skin. They declared him an outlaw, the last one in the state. They all looked down on him and they spared his name with hate. But even at 16, hell, I could see the cards in his hand. He might have been bad, probably had enough, no doubt, a broken man. Well, I believe it's written at birth that if you push a man for what he's worth, don't expect that he'll take it on the chin. 'Cause a broken man lets his sins bury him. Thank you. I was very fortunate to grow up my whole life with a good set of parents, good set of grandparents, just a great and supportive family in whatever I did. And when I decided that I wanted to take music a bit more seriously, I was going to college, community college, albeit, and working a day job, and I started playing music more and out, and I kind of felt like I was letting my folks down for it. So I put this song on the Harden Hearts record. It's kind of my love letter to them, to say thank you for putting up with me, even though I'm usually a moron. The song's called Prodigal Son. Woke up this morning, laying on the floor, just like yesterday, the day before. And I still hear your words that still ring true. Just wondering why I do things I do. Do you remember my first guitar? It lays busted down on the hood of that old car. And it lit me off even back in the day. And nothing since has ever moved me that way. And I don't expect you to understand why I choose to live the way that I am. No matter how far I roam, I'm the prodigal son. And all the times I'm gone, and those late nights, you lie awake till I turn out the light. And I may not show it, but I know you care. Every time I call, I know you're always there. And I can't change the things I've done, embrace all my fears I can't outrun. This dream I have that I've gotta chase, and all the roads that drive come back to this place. And when I come home, your grace is strong. And though I do less right than I do wrong, no matter how far I roam, I'm the prodigal son. And I'll be home tomorrow for a couple of days, though I wish it was longer that I could stay. And I'll head out to do it all again, come back to open arms, boots worn thin. And I don't expect you to understand why I choose to live the way that I am. And when I come home, your grace is strong. Though I do less right than I do wrong, no matter how far I roam, I'm the prodigal son. Thank you.
Hey Sam, so in that song, not only the title, but also the themes of sort of little grace, little guilt, maybe. And then I look at the title of your that solo album of yours, Hardened Hearts, and I want to ask the question: do you come from a church background?
I do.
Yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in the Methodist church.
Mm-hmm.
Went to the same church that my dad grew up in, and his parents. And for high school, I went to a private Christian school.
Mm.
So yeah, it's it's called the Bible Belt for a reason, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
When I think of Hardened Hearts, I'm kind of curious to know how that happened to become the name for the album. I think of Hardened Hearts. I think of sort of Jesus reprimanding the disciples for getting bored with miracles.
Yeah.
That they have hardened hearts. Where did that title come from for you?
Well, honestly, it just sounded good.
Yeah?
When I wrote the song Hardened Hearts that I opened up with, I just thought, oh, that sounds cool. And I, at the time, wasn't even thinking about church because I haven't been in years after I kind of grew up and had a lot of heartburn there. But we don't have to talk about that.
Well, what is it? Yeah, what did the title mean in the song? Is there an actual song called Hardened Hearts?
The one I opened with, Hardened Hearts.
Yeah.
It I don't know, just about I guess just you and a significant other having hardened hearts towards each other. It kind of had a falling out, and things are ending. Your hearts are hardened. And saying, well, our hardened hearts ain't that tough. That's kind of the hook of the song. Come home and fill me up, bring me through the morning light, which is really a cliche line now that I think about it. But yeah, it's just the song was saying, break down your hardened heart. Yeah.
And so, when you think about the process that you go through when you write songs, I guess when I think of hardened heart, I think of sort of cynicism a little bit, which is that place when you get to that place where you feel like there's nothing really new, there's nothing really interesting, everything sucks.
Yeah.
How do you keep out of that place so that you can do some good songwriting?
Just trying to listen to stuff that, we talked about always going back to Tom Petty and Dwight, but always trying to find something new and just paying attention and observing the world that's around you. I mean, there's a lot going on, and there's more people in this world than just you, yourself, and you.
Yeah, right.
And so that's just being observant.
Yeah, and so when you observe, are you inclined sometimes to sort of jot things down so you don't forget them?
I do.
And do you do that on? You have a little notepad you carry in your pocket. Use the notepad that we call the cell phone.
Yep, I use the notes app in my phone frequently.
Yeah, and so do you? Do you have your phone with you?
Yeah, I do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, so can you tell us, if you don't mind, what's the something recent you wrote in your phone?
Let's see. Well, the first thing.
Put you right on the spot here.
I'm really nervous now.
Oh, no, you shouldn't be.
The first thing is a recipe for potato salad.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah. And which
is that going to make its way into a song, or?
It probably should, because it's a good potato salad, and I'm not just saying that. I got the recipe from my aunt, so.
Oh, all right. If you wouldn't mind sharing that with me.
Yeah.
After the show.
I got you. And the next thing was, what lets me sleep at night is knowing there's a way out, and that's the only line I wrote. Probably wrote it at 3 a.m. when I was half asleep, and so that's the next thing I'll try and work with, just whatever that means.
So will you? Yeah. So talk us through that a little bit. You're gonna. So you've got an afternoon. You've got a rainy Sunday afternoon. No pandemic, just rain.
Yeah.
And you're thinking, I'd like to try something new. And you're going to pull out your phone maybe and just flip through some of the notes that you have. And are you going to try to incorporate that into something you've already done? Or are you going to begin with that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it just depends. It varies. When a line like that hits me, it always rolls around, and to go back and see it, it'll roll around in my head, whether I have music or not. And then I'll pick up the guitar and start strumming, or I'll be in the shower or making potato salad or whatever. And a lot of times, more often than not, a melody will I'll start hearing a melody with, maybe a chord progression behind it. And then once that starts happening, I just try and keep it going, slightly stream of consciousness, not fully, and going back and revising and editing then after that.
Well, I got to tell you and others listening how much I liked On Hardened Hearts or the album. It's just to me it's just solid in so many ways. I love how it kicks in with Take Your Toys, Lucy, a name you mentioned in another song tonight. We should get to that. And I really like Roll with the Punches.
Thank you.
And but I feel like I'm going to listen to that album a bunch of times. And I know you probably want to move us forward in your musical career, but that was 2018, right?
Yeah.
Do you think about making another album that has that kind of pop feel? It's pop. It's like it's rock. It's pop. I don't feel that much country in it.
Yeah, there's elements of it in there. I mean, being from North Carolina, I sound like I got a mouthful of rocks.
But I hear Southern. No, I mean I hear Southern elements, but not necessarily the things I would call country music.
Yeah, the Heat Waves album that's coming out in June, it's very much more rock and roll in that vein of Tom Petty, Elvis Costello kind of rock and roll. Not hard rock, but just rock and roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, people have gotten a taste on the show tonight just of what you can do with your voice. You've got a powerful voice, and I know you're singing at about like 60% of your range and your power right now, because what you can hear on Hardened Hearts is like that that rock voice that Sam has, which is cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, very very.
It's come from a lot of nights of punishing it and with whiskey and cigarette smoke in the air and dive bars. Yeah.
You take care of your voice now in a different way?
Not like I should. I mean, yeah.
Does your voice take care of itself?
It does. I mean, I tried to. This time of year is rough. Pollen and allergies just always make it far more scratchier. I try and do the best I can, especially the day before a show. Maybe, maybe not drink a bunch of coffee, which I did today.
Oh, right.
Yeah, because I got to drive tonight, so pump that caffeine.
Yeah. Tell folks about the Winston-Salem music scene a little bit.
It is, I love it. I love being a part of the music scene. I met a lot of great people. When I first started playing out, there was all kinds of venues around, and even more before I even, came into existence. Like I said, James Vincent Carroll introduced me to a bunch of people. I met Doug Davis, who in turn introduced me to countless other people. Like last weekend, they do this thing called the Vagabond Saints Society, and they'll pick a certain concert or a certain artist, and for 3 hours they do that. So last week they did 1985 Farm Aid. And they did 3 hours of Farm Aid, doing everything from George Jones to Bon Jovi to Foreigner, and I got to be a small part of that. Yeah, the OG. Yeah, but I say that because that's very much a Winston-Salem music scene community event when things like that happen, and everyone I've ever met has been incredibly supportive of each other. It's not cutthroat. It's not like, I'm going to steal your gigs. You're muscling in on my territory. Everybody wants to see everybody succeed.
How far is Raleigh-Durham from you? Is it like the same distance as here to Louisville?
Yeah,
Like an hour?
like an hour
70,
from here.
70 miles?
Yeah, Raleigh's like hour and a half, 2 hours.
Oh, okay, a little bit further.
Yeah.
And you go there too?
You go there too, actually playing there next week. Yeah.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
And so if somebody listening to the program tonight is thinking about traveling down that way, where would you recommend they go?
In Raleigh?
Yeah, either one, Raleigh-Durham or Winston-Salem.
Well, the Poorhouse is always great, and that's where we'll be at. There's a little dive bar called Slim's, which is just a fun place. It's a little hole in the wall. You can go to Clyde Cooper's Barbecue or Mojo's Burgers. There's all kinds of great
come
places.
on.
Just
All these places
go
sound
out
good.
and go out and explore a little bit. Yeah.
Nice. Well, good tips. Great to have you with us on the program, Sam. It's great to see you again, and I'm looking forward to seeing where things go. And I can't wait to hear, music too with this new group of players you're working with.
Yeah, thank you. Hopefully we can come back and do a little rock and roll.
Well, you'd be welcome to.
Thank you.
Yeah. Would we welcome back Sam Foster and his band to the show? Yeah, of course we would.
Y'all are too kind.
All right. Well, let's get Sam to play some more music.
All right.
Sam Foster.
Here's another new one. It's called Let Me Out. Used to wake up in the morning and it'd blaze a trail. I thought I had the knack to get it done. It always seemed so easy, cause I always seemed to fail to see just where my feet had on the run. Cutting corners in the day with all the yes men, and walking so-called lines I used to trace. I always called it special as a means to an end, but I never seemed to leave the starting place. Let me out. Let me out. And I always called it special, but it really wasn't true. And I'm screaming like I'm on, let me out. If I've heard it once, you know I've probably said it twice. It's all at least been said and done before. The same old tales, how they never played nice. Left me curled up, broke down, crying on the floor. Whining all about my own lovesick blues. It's all the same story that's been told. Then I took a look outside and I didn't have a clue. Time to shake it up and try to break the mold. Let me out. Let me out. Well, I took a look outside and I didn't have a clue. And I'm screaming like I'm on, let me out. Used to wake up in the morning and blaze a trail. I never quite knew just what it means. I took the time to learn and now I'm mad as hell, wasting time and burning gasoline. Let me out. Let me out. Well, I took the time to learn and now I'm mad as hell. And I'm screaming like I'm on, let me out. Well, I took the time to learn and now I'm mad as hell. And I'm screaming like I'm on, let me out. Thank you. Thank you very much. This next song is a sister song to that one Memorial Day that I played a little bit ago. And that Memorial Day being from a third-person perspective of the murder. This one is first person. So it's called Somebody's Gonna Get It Tonight. Lately my handler's been acting kind of strange. See what's gotten into you, it's making you this way. Her eyes held the pressure, the truth and the fear. That's when I knew someone else been sleeping here. And she wouldn't answer, she wouldn't tell. She knew if I found out it'd send me to hell, yes sir. Well, back in April, I was pulled over drunk. Had 2 keys stashed back in the trunk. The deputy drug me out and he held me on the ground. They put me in cuffs and we went downtown. They never called the dogs and they never searched the car. A DUI was my only charge. When I posted bail, the deputy told me with a grin, expect to be hearing from me again. I remember one night, back a couple weeks, the deputy patrolling coming up my street, pulled my 65 forward into the drive. That's when my Hannah flipped on the lights. She was acting kind of nervous, nerves weren't thin, and I never thought about it too much again. So I'm rolling out, my hands clenched tight. Somebody's gonna get it tonight. I got a hunting rifle, it's a 308 and a 1911 hidden just in case. And I got a belly full of that courage in, and I'm going out to find that deputy again. So I'm rolling out, my hands clenched tight. Somebody's gonna get it tonight. And I left him by the roadside, bleeding or dead. When they strap me to the gurney, I can rest my head, and they'll roll me out, my hands clenched tight. Somebody's gonna get it tonight. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Well, this next one, I don't know if y'all know this, but I have really bad social anxiety. So that's what you know, it's funny, you can get up and play and sing songs, but like when it comes to talking to people, I just like, I'd feel anxious and uptight. I don't know why. So, yeah. What's that?
Let's talk about it.
How does that make you feel? But yeah, so I wrote a song about it. It's called Drama Queen. It's going to be on Heat Waves, and here we go. went out of style tonight. Drama queen, I had enough. Talk is bold and cheap as love. Transistors, leather jacket. Let's twist, yeah. I can't hack it. Rejection, my biggest fear. Just a flexing over here. And it's okay, honey, I'm alright. But I just went out of style tonight. Drama queen, I had enough. Talk is bold and cheap as love. And it's okay, honey, I'm alright. But I just went out of style tonight. Drama queen, I had enough. Talk is bold and cheap as love. Looking lovely, walking out. I'm feeling lonely. Watch me now.
All right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, there are so many people to thank for our program each and every week. First, Sam Foster, our guest this evening from Raleigh, North Carolina, or Winston-Salem, North Carolina, sorry. We're always grateful for our volunteers and staff who make up our production happen so beautifully each and every week. That's John and Matt and Kate and Forrest and Melinda and Eric and, of course, our producer, Mr. Ed Commons. And we want to thank all of you listening to our webcast, watching us on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, and those listening to us on the network of Red Barn stations and media worldwide. Thanks to WEKU, Red Barn's premier radio partner, NPR for Central and Eastern Kentucky. Listen online at weku.org. It's your chance to hear more great live music from Red Barn Radio and WEKU. Those of you here in the Central Kentucky area, you got to be sure to check out Red Barn TV. It's our weekly program of music now on ABC 36 WTVQ. Red Barn Radio comes to you tonight from our home, the Arts Place Performance Hall in downtown Lexington, Kentucky. Our website has updates and further information on our guests in our program. We're on the web at redbarnradio.com. And now, once again, folks, please welcome back Sam Foster to the Red Barn stage.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Just wanted to say thank y'all. You know, the second time up here, the hospitality, everybody's been so kind and gracious. I really appreciate y'all having me. It means a lot.
You too, man.
I guess got time for one more. And this one's actually the first single that came out off the Heatwaves records. It's out now on Spotify, Apple Music, everywhere. This is called Loud and Clear. Thank y'all again. Are you crying, or just wet from the rain? Are you lying, or just feeling the shame? You afraid of ending up on the bad side of a book? Would you give back all the dignity you took? Tell me now. turn your head to the side and force out a cough. You can dress back up, they don't see nothing wrong. They say it gets better in a week or two, but this time is different and you feel what's right to do. 'Cause it's coming in loud and clear. Yeah, it's coming in loud and clear. And all the town's lit up just like a pinball machine. You can see the flames, but do you know what they mean? Burning up the years of hate and sin. We can't look away and we can't go back again. 'Cause it's coming in loud and clear. Yeah, it's coming in loud and clear. Would you catch yourself when you're starting to glide? And would you stand up for your brother's pride? Or would you cower like a dog that's been kicked around? Would you heed any man that wears a tarnished crown? 'Cause it's coming in loud and clear. Yeah, it's coming in loud and clear. Whoa, whoa. Thank you.
Sam Foster. Wow, well, that's all for our show for this week. But you can see and hear Red Barn Radio worldwide as we stream live on the web on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch, Wednesdays, 7 p.m. Eastern in North America. You can also listen to archived performances on Spotify and iTunes, and you can go swimming in the oceans of video on the Red Barn Radio YouTube channel. Hey, remember, every like, comment, share, and subscribe helps bring Roots music, Southern style, to your neck of the woods. And finally this, if any of our featured artists are performing in your area, hey, we don't even have to feature them. If any artists are performing in your area, go out and hear them live. They're working hard right now. They need you more than ever. From all of us here at Red Barn Radio to all of our friends worldwide, keep working together to be safe and healthy. And until next time, good night from Red Barn Radio.